the perception of a welcoming world for Americans appears to be shifting. It seems the proverbial red carpet is being rolled up as, one by one, powerful nations close borders, cancel agreements, or otherwise compel U.S. citizens to leave. Is this hostility driven by politics, power struggles, or perhaps payback for past actions? From military base evictions to tightening visa rules, significant changes are unfolding, potentially catching Americans in the crossfire. Let's explore 10 countries where the environment for U.S. citizens is reportedly becoming more challenging and consider the implications. Number 10, Niger. In Africa, Niger delivered news that likely surprised the Pentagon. U.S. forces were asked to leave. This nation, which once hosted over 1,000 American troops for vital counter-terrorism efforts, revoked a long-standing military agreement in March 2024, declaring the U.S. presence illegal. This rapid reversal underscores shifting power dynamics, new alliances, and growing skepticism about foreign military footprints, potentially signaling diminishing U.S. influence in strategically important regions. Number 9, Russia. The warning signs were there: stricter visas, closed consulates, reciprocal sanctions. But in 2023-2024, Russia's stance became clearer. Americans face a less welcoming environment. Detentions of journalists, expulsion of diplomats, and outright bans on U.S.-linked NGOs have increased. While reminiscent of the Cold War, the situation is complex. It follows earlier significant cuts to U.S. diplomatic staff, over 700 positions in 2017, and today involves heightened scrutiny even for tourists, reflecting deep political tensions. Number 8, China. China, once seen as a prime destination for global business, top universities, and networking, has changed its approach towards Americans. The environment is now marked by increased suspicion, surveillance, and sudden restrictions. This affects not just tourists but academics, executives, and journalists. U.S.-China relations have strained to a point where holding an American passport can trigger scrutiny. Major companies have reduced operations, educational exchanges are cut, and some U.S. citizens have faced exit bans, preventing them from leaving, often without clear reasons, reflecting a growing political mistrust despite deep economic interdependence. Number 7, Iran. Iran presents one of the highest risks globally for arbitrary arrest and detention of U.S. citizens, leading to the State Department's maximum level 4, do not travel advisory. The danger is compounded by the fact that the U.S. has very limited ability to provide consular assistance once inside Iran. Ordinary travelers, dual citizens, and humanitarian workers have been detained on vague charges, sometimes for years. Americans are often viewed not as individuals but as extensions of U.S. policy, meaning political tensions can directly impact their safety. Number 6, North Korea. Perhaps the most dangerous destination for an American, North Korea operates under extreme secrecy and control. The U.S. government legally restricts its citizens from traveling there, level 4 advisory, due to profound risks. American tourists have been detained for actions considered minor elsewhere, like handling propaganda materials, sometimes with tragic outcomes. With no U.S. embassy or diplomatic safety net, Americans inside North Korea are entirely at the mercy of local authorities and have historically been used as political pawns in negotiations. Number 5, Turkey. A once popular tourist destination bridging East and West, Turkey has seen shifts making the environment for Americans more uncertain. U.S. citizens, including journalists, aid workers, and even tourists, have reportedly faced detention, surveillance, or visa issues, sometimes based on suspicion or alleged political associations rather than clear legal breaches. The notable case of an American pastor held for 2 years highlighted the potential for diplomatic standoffs. Increased government scrutiny and accusations against U.S.-linked groups mean Americans should exercise extreme caution. Number 4, Venezuela. Venezuela has transformed from a major oil exporter with deep U.S. ties into one of the most hazardous places for Americans, level 4 advisory. The U.S. Embassy in Caracas closed operations in 2019 due to safety concerns, leaving Americans without consular support. Arbitrary detentions are a significant risk, especially for dual citizens or those in media or energy sectors, with individuals sometimes used as political bargaining chips by the Maduro government. This occurs against a backdrop of severe economic crisis, hyperinflation, shortages, and high crime rates, making the country volatile and dangerous, further complicated by the suspension of direct flights from the U.S. Number 3. Cuba. Travel to Cuba for Americans remains complex and heavily restricted, despite its proximity to the U.S. Standard tourism is technically banned. U.S. citizens must qualify under specific authorized categories like family visits or educational activities. Even then, many state-run hotels and businesses are off-limits under U.S. law. Americans face potential surveillance, and past unexplained health incidents, Havana syndrome, led to drastic reductions in U.S. embassy staff and services. Cuba's U.S. designation as a state sponsor of terrorism further complicates interactions and financial transactions. Number 2. Afghanistan. Following the U.S. military withdrawal in 2021 and the subsequent Taliban takeover, Afghanistan represents an extremely high-risk environment for any remaining or returning Americans. Level 4 advisory. The U.S. embassy is closed, meaning there is absolutely no official U.S. presence or protection on the ground. Any U.S. citizen faces immediate and severe threats of violence, kidnapping, or detention by the ruling Taliban, who view Americans through a hostile political lens. It's a vacuum for American safety. Number 1. Belarus. Often overlooked, Belarus has quietly become one of Europe's more hostile environments for Americans, prompting a Level 4 advisory. Closely allied with Russia, the government mirrors many anti-Western policies and has intensified surveillance of foreigners. American diplomats have been expelled, NGOs shuttered, and travelers report facing random searches, detentions, and interrogations, sometimes triggered by seemingly minor things like social media posts. Access to legal recourse if detained can be severely limited. These 10 countries exemplify a changing global dynamic where Americans may face increasing challenges abroad. Geopolitical shifts, national interests, and diplomatic friction are creating environments marked by heightened scrutiny, restrictions, and potential dangers. For U.S. citizens traveling or living overseas, maintaining situational awareness and closely monitoring official travel advisories has become more critical than ever. If you found this analysis of global risks for Americans valuable, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future updates on critical international developments. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and keep learning.